This forum is designed to give the candidates an opportunity to present their views, answer questions that they have not seen, and give the voters a chance to get to know them a little bit better. It's very important, if you are not a registered voter, that you do register. Your voice needs to be heard. We do have all the forms you need at the back, or there's a little QR code. Just zip that in with your phone, and we'll take you to Washington State Department of Registration. So at that, I am in.
You're done. Okay. So I'll have to explain that we have a little bit of a technology issue tonight. So this is not the camera, this is a microphone. If I made this a camera, you'd be looking at people's teeth instead of their faces. So we're going to try to make this work for everybody as well as those that are on Zoom. So I'd like to welcome all of our candidates, and I'm pleased to briefly introduce them tonight. Candidates for County Clerk position are Renee Campbell and Shelby McCurry. Candidates for County Auditor position are Joanne Chambers and Heather Joe. And candidates for the District 2 County Commissioner position are Matt Dumalt. Sorry, I should have clarified that beforehand. And Lori Zoller. As Lori had indicated, the candidates did not receive our questions in advance. And so the first round of these questions are determined by the League of Women Voters of Klickitat County and Skamania counties in cooperation with the Trout Lake Community Council. The Trout Lake Community Council actually, when we saw that so many of these positions were being run by, there weren't any incumbents, we said, well, we'd like to learn more about the folks that are running for these positions. And so that's why we initiated the thought about having a candidates forum. For the audience, please make sure and mute or turn off your cell phones or put them on vibrate or whatever, so that we don't have any interruptions. We do have people on Zoom that are trying to listen in, and so those distractions are going to be difficult. And this is a nonpartisan forum, and so you may agree with what somebody says or disagree with it, but please do not respond in any way. Don't clap, don't boo or anything like that, because we're really trying to, the goal is to really listen to what the candidates have to say. During this, the candidates will be given one challenge. I don't think we're going to have so many issues with that, but if we do, at the conclusion of the question and after both answers have been given, there's an opportunity for one challenge throughout the evening for each candidate to be able to, raise a question or an objection and say that they'd like to follow up on something. So we have the timekeeper will have things visible to all the candidates, and at each answer to the question would be, they're allowed 60 seconds, and then at 15 seconds, a yellow warning card will be put just to give notice that they only have 15 seconds left to complete their answer. So now we're going to move forward with the county clerk position first, and then we will go to the county auditor, and then the county commissioner will be the last position where we would have the opportunity to listen to the candidates. And for those, I don't know if I think it's on the chairs, there's a brief description of the duties and responsibilities of each position. We decided not to vocalize that during this process because it would just take too much time. But if you would like to have a copy, or if we don't have enough copies, pass it around to other folks after you've read through it. So now for the county clerk position, I would like to first introduce Renee Campbell. And Renee, you have 3 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you. Welcome everyone, and I just want to say a big thank you to all the people who have made this event possible. It takes a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and really appreciate that. And I've had the honor of serving as your county clerk for the last 9 years. Prior to that, I worked in the East District Court for 24 years in various positions. 18 of those was overseeing the day-to-day operations of the court under the direction of the presiding judge. The county clerk is independent of the judiciary and is responsible for protecting the integrity and accuracy of the Superior Court record, preserving for the public access to fair, accurate, and an independently established record of opinions, decisions, and judgments of the court. As your county clerk, I have streamlined numerous processes, creating workflows to get documents electronically transferred to state agencies as required by statute, creating workflows, getting documents to the court administration, which was needed for setting trials and getting things docketed. Also, a project that I just was able to complete last month was to get electronic copies of our documents to digital archives. And so what does that mean for you? So if you need a copy out of a document out of a case, you just have to go to the county clerk's website, go to the link that we have established there to go to digital archives, and your documents can be ordered through there, and then you have them usually within minutes. And I'm getting really good reviews from the people who are using it, so I'm pretty excited about that ability for you. Last year, during the 2022 budget process, I was successful in getting the Board of County Commissioners to approve an agreement to have a document management administrator, and that has been an invaluable person for Klickitat County. She's using other, she's helping to establish other document management flows in other county offices, which is a huge benefit when you need to preserve documents and access them quickly if you need them. Electronic filing of documents has not yet been mandated for county clerks. There is, and as such, I will be ahead of the curve when it comes to having documents, the ability to have documents electronically filed. And we should have that done by the first of the year. And these changes make your records more secure, improve access to court services, and boost efficiency and move the clerk's office forward. County clerk leadership requires persistence, creative problem solving, and knowledge of laws, court rules. I have the skills and experience necessary to lead this office for the next 4 years, and I ask for your vote.
Thank you. And now we will hear from Shelby. Sorry, I'm coming. And please, Shelby, you have 3 minutes to for your opening statement. I'm sorry, there's a fly flying around here that just totally distracted me. Go ahead, start.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Shelby McKern. I moved to Klickitat County when I was 11 years old and have grown up in the area since. I went to middle school at Centerville School. I was a part of the 4-H there. I went to Goldendale High School, and then in my junior year, I decided to spend a year abroad in Japan, and I was the first transfer student out of Goldendale to go somewhere abroad and then come back and graduate in 2012. I then moved to Arkansas to pursue my degree in communication studies, where I also got a double minor in advertising and English. And then for a couple of years, I tried to hop around and see what kind of jobs I was looking for in the workforce. And by about 2018, I had decided I didn't want to stay there and I wanted to move back home. So I came back home, and at that time, I had the pleasure of working as a deputy clerk in the clerk's office under Renee. And in that time, I found a job that I have absolutely fallen in love with. I love being a part of the justice system. It stirs a fire in me to come across someone who has any type of injustice given to them and isn't given the opportunity to speak their side or to accurately portray what happened in their opinion and work to a resolution. So to be able to work in the clerk's office was taking advantage of some of my best skills, organization and communication with people, getting to be very detail oriented with all the record keeping, getting to plan ahead for things that we're seeing in the future. It absolutely is a job that I wholeheartedly wish to go back to. I really enjoy getting to be a part of the justice system on the other side. After I left the clerk's office in 2012 to work in IT, I continued being in it by working as a paralegal for an attorney out of Bellevue, Washington, and I have been her paralegal since then, working mostly in estate planning, guardianships, probates, and a few other smaller civil cases. I think I am a better choice for this position because I am a quick learner and I'm highly adaptable. With the new laws and legal landscapes that are coming down the pipeline as we continue moving forward into a digital age, I'm keen to work with those processes with the state as we're being notified with them, rather than waiting until a mandate is issued for us to decide to do something about it. I focus on efficiency and planning for the future. We already know that digital is here. We need to make accessibility more readily available to the citizens of Klickitat County. We've known that e-filing is going to be a mandate in January 1st since 2021, when the House bill was initially proposed and was passed in May of this year, that starting January 1st, electronic filing has to be in place for protection orders. We are currently in the process of exploring that system, but it's a bit of a scramble to pull it all together by January 1st at this point, and I want to plan ahead for things coming that way in the future. I'm very excited to be a part of this campaign trail, and I'm very appreciative of everyone that wanted to be here today to support us and get to know us, and I ask for your vote in this election. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will begin with our questions. Please let me know if you want me to repeat any of the questions. I think they're fairly short, so I don't want to repeat them every single time at the beginning. So our first question, and then I will alternate the respondent for each question. So the first question, I'm going to pose it to Shelby, is why do you want to be county clerk? And you have 1 minute to respond.
I want to be county clerk because I think I could do a phenomenal job in the position of taking it forward into the 21st century further. I like looking ahead and being aware of things that are going to happen to us rather than waiting for them to impact us and then trying to find solutions. I want to work with the people in the state to start trying to find other resources to make the court system more accessible or easy to understand for people that have to represent themselves in court, maybe without an attorney. There are a couple of resources, Washington Law Help, as well as Northwest Justice Project, that are available, but those are very, very narrow conditions to get help through Northwest Justice Project, and Washington Law Help is still a work in progress to provide adequate information to people seeking it. I think there's an opportunity to work with other clerks in the county or other clerks in the state to open up more channels for resources.
Thank you. And Renee?
Thank you. It's like I said, it's been a privilege to be your county clerk for the last 9 years. And I have had a lot of experience working in the court system, working under different judges, and have learned a lot from those judges. And it takes persistence, being able to understand the laws and the court rules that pertain to the clerk's office, and also being able to adjust when the mandate, as my opponent talks about, is you have to have the ability to electronically receive civil protection orders. And so those can be received through an email. So they are going to be received through email once the electronic filing is put in place. Then they'll be able to electronically file them. But so that's one of the things I have been maintaining and keeping the clerk's office up to date. And I believe we are in the 21st century.
Thank you. For our second question is, as court clerk for the Superior Court of Klickitat County, please describe the top 3 priorities of your position. Renee, could you please respond first?
Of course. I think keeping the county clerk's website up to date is vitally important to the people who are looking for the services and needs that the clerk's office provides. And I was on a committee, and we put together guidelines for the county clerks and the district court and municipals administrators to help keep their websites up to date. So that's hugely important. Getting my documents to digital archives is a very valuable tool that is available now. And then electronic filing is important. That is a process that I started last year during the budget process, and there's been some hiccups along the way. And some of those hiccups have not been by fault of me. There has been other things that have cropped up that have stopped the process. So the process is moving forward, and oftentimes there are obstacles that get in the way that prevent that from getting there as quickly as it should.
Thank you. Shelby?
I would say that the top 3 priorities of working as the county clerk, the first and foremost is the duty of the clerk itself to preserve the integrity of the court record as defined by the RCWs given by the state. Making sure to have detail-oriented skills and staff to keep all of the records safe and clean, to get all the numbers that you need reported back to the state so that they can keep their records clean. That's the top priority because that's just the position of the clerk. I think the second most needs to be the accessibility of the courts. We are expanding slowly into the digital age again, but currently keeping things that, you can file in person or by mail makes it very challenging for someone from Trout Lake or from BZ Corners to have to drive all the way into the courthouse during their personal time, during working hours to try and drop off documents or pay for all the postage by mail to have all those weighted documents sent in along with your conformed copies that you probably want sent back to you. I think the other part of it as a clerk is to just be transparent about the court processes. There are ways of informing people what we legally can and cannot say in ways that don't deter people from trying to navigate the court system and should be done in ways that help encourage people to try and get through it.
Thank you, Shelby. And so now our third question is, there's a projected budget shortfall. What will be the effects on the office of the clerk and how would you address it? Shelby, could you respond first?
Currently, I am not privileged to keeping in track with the clerk's budget. I currently work in the IT department, and it has been my responsibility working with the previous IT manager to create the budgets for IT. That has taken most of my focus, but I'm able to translate those skills over into the clerk's office once I see those numbers. I'm happy to educate myself more as soon as I were to take office or after the election, begin integrating myself into that process.
Thank you, Shelby. Renee?
The clerk's office budget, the majority of it is salaries and benefits. And so the budget is very lean already. So as I explained to the commissioners, there's no way to skim anything off. And if it just is what it is, the cost of doing business to run the clerk's office, and we are, there's requirements that you have to do. And so the commissioners would have to supply and do supplementals if I was to go over budget. And I haven't gone over budget. I did a supplemental this year only because there was an increase in salaries and wages that weren't a part of the 2022 budget. It didn't happen until later. So I've been very physically responsible and haven't had to do supplementals the 9 years I've been in office.
Thank you. So our next question, question number 4, is what are the challenges about the duties of the court clerk? And Renee, could you please respond first? I know that you've already kind of gone through that, but just some additional information would be great.
And what was the first one?
What are the challenges about the duties of the court clerk?
The challenges are, it's very difficult. People are dealing with very difficult situations in their lives, and it's very hard when you come to an office at the courthouse and you really want answers. And the clerks cannot give legal advice. We can give information, we can give direction on resources. We have resources available at the counter that we hand out to people. I have resources available on my website. And there are, if your income requirements meet it, then Northwest Justice is available. There's also mediation that is available for through Six Rivers Mediation, and that's on a sliding scale basis. So we give people those directions and resources to help assist them. And just being kind and courteous. And and understanding is most important.
Thank you, Renee. And now Shelby.
The challenges of the clerk's office are trying to operate within those RCWs that do dictate what a clerk can and cannot say. You cannot give legal advice. You cannot give anything that might be interpreted as legal advice. So a focus on communication with everybody that comes through the office in a way that is emotionally decreasing. We're not trying to raise tensions for people that are coming through for high emotion situations. Most of the people who come through are first timers, don't understand the system, and you're trying to explain it to them in a way that's as easy to understand, but while being careful of, yes, there are things you can and cannot say. We should be very transparent about those things that we can and cannot say, and then redirect around, here's what I can tell you, here's how I can give you assistance, here's how I can, provide other opportunities for you to seek this knowledge. The constantly changing legal landscape as well. The state comes out with new forms twice a year and passes bills every year, and trying to keep up to date with those and communicating those back to the people is also a challenge, but it's very important to stay on top of.
Thank you. And now our final question, and I believe the candidates have referred to this earlier, but again, we'd like to have some clarification and additional information. So the final question, and Shelby will to respond first, is making documents and petitions available electronically makes them more accessible to the public. What are the constraints to making that happen?
Okay, there are quite a few constraints to making that happen in a safe manner. The first thing that most people need to grasp is we are a government entity, and working in IT, I can tell you our cybersecurity is one of our #1 priorities constantly, and we are constantly under attack from different outside networks that we have to protect from. So when we're trying to set up an e-filing system, we have to create a system that's going to allow for a safe file transfer protocol. That means when they upload the document, we have to know who's uploading it. Is the document safe? Can we scan it and make sure it's quarantined before it's uploaded into our network and doesn't provide us with a virus? That alone takes quite a bit of integration. There's a cost factor for the people that are trying to integrate this product with the software that we already have, because we're going to have somebody build it for us. We can't afford to do it in-house. The other complications with it they're mostly monetary and mostly internal technological issues that we have to focus on. We could have started this process earlier.
Thank you. Now, Renee.
So one of the things that we're looking at is a system that's already established and already being utilized with other county clerks' offices, and has gone through the vetting and is up and running, and does not, the documents do not go into the county servers. I don't understand all the technical stuff. Shelby would be better at that than me, but this system is costly, and I have looked at some avenues of paying for that outside of utilizing the budget dollars that have been allotted to me by the county commissioners. And I believe that this system is going to do what is needed to serve the people and to have electronic filing put in place. And there have been a lot of hiccups along the way, and it's a process that started over a year ago, and it takes time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, and as a final part of this first part of the candidate forum, each of the candidates will have the ability to provide a closing statement of up to 3 minutes. And so, if you would like. Okay. So, Renee?
Well, I think there's been a lot of issues that have come out on the table here, and I hope that you have listened carefully. And I think the things that Shelby and I are saying that are important for the Klickitat County Clerk's office, we both agree are important aspects of the clerk's office. Having good customer service. I get compliments all the time on the customer service that is provided at the clerk's office. And my staff is efficient and is always helping people to get through the processes that are very complicated, and allowing them giving them the resources to help them. And it's not what they want to hear, but it is, part of maneuvering the legal system without having an attorney, and it's costly to get an attorney. And as you know, like I've talked about, county clerk leadership requires persistence, creative problem solving, and knowledge of the laws and the court rules, along with a deep commitment to the fundamental principles of justice. I am proud to run on the record of my accomplishments, and I have the skills and experience to continue leading the clerk's office for the next 4 years. And again, I ask for your vote on November 8th.
Thank you, Renee. And Shelby?
I want to thank you again for having us all here. It's wonderful to finally be on the West End as we've kind of traveled about the county this month with everybody scheduling candidates night. So thank you very much for hosting us again. I would just like to summarize that I don't think Renee has been a bad clerk. She has been a wonderful county clerk in the time that she has been in office. I just think that now is the time that we're at a pivotal point in moving forward, that I believe I'm a better choice for moving the office forward in different directions as we continue on. The state is changing, the legislature is changing, and laws are changing ahead of time. We need to be willing to stay ahead of the curve instead of standing still until someone tells us we have to move, or moving slowly about it even when they've said, hey, this is going to be happening soon. I would love to be able to work with other clerks to see what other accessibility resources we could provide to the state, if that's something that's possible. I want to get involved with those things to make it easier for people, or to make it more accessible for people. Everybody deserves equality in the clerk's office. Whoever comes in, there's no difference between your wealth status, between your livelihood, between your race, religion, party lines. There's none of that in the clerk's office or the court system. Everyone is equal at the foot of justice. And I want to ensure that everybody has an equal opportunity to searching for their justice when they need it. I really hope that you guys will vote for me on November 8th. And thank you again so much.
And thank you to our candidates for the county clerk position. I want to extend my deepest apologies to my faux pas. I mean, someone told me that it was all open, and so I never even checked to make sure that that you were actually the incumbent. So I apologize for that. I feel really bad about that. So anyway, thanks. Lori? Oh, did you want a challenge? No. They need to indicate a challenge. Okay. And no one did, so yeah. I'm new to this. This is my very first moderating. So next up we have the county auditor position. Can you hand me that one? Put up your pants. Get to my next page here. Okay, so we now have the county auditor position, or two candidates, and so I'll start with Joanne Chambers, and you have 3 minutes for your opening statement.
Okay. Thank you very much for organizing this. This is always amazing to come and visit with folks. My name's Joanne Chambers. I grew up on the hardworking 4th generation family farm in Centerville, Goldendale area. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. I have 28 years law enforcement experience. I have 30 years forensic investigative and bank auditing, and 20 years certified fraud, over 20 years certified fraud examiner, and over 4 years as an accountant. I will always be monitoring for fraud. I don't know, it's in my genes. I just am always watching for it, even though even if it's not my job. Some of the improvements that I want to do, mainly I want to make sure that the folks, the citizens, have a friendly and efficient office to go to. One, that they don't wait in lines. And part of that is that I want to streamline and cross-train to make sure that there's more staff to help you, so there's not a lot of long lines at the office. Also, I listen to your concerns, and your concerns are my concerns. And with that, one of the big things I want to do is put a satellite office a couple days a week, at least, down in White Salmon or Bingen or west end of the county, to make sure that you guys can get your vehicle tabs. And I don't even have a problem with staggering times, because I know people work. So, and I don't have a problem working it myself if need be. So those are the things that I want to do. I grew up on a very hardworking ranch, and I grew up actually in the field working. So I have very big experience with all kinds of bank records, as well as different records for businesses. So I know how to find fraud, and I know how to deal with fraud if I do find it. I don't want to find it, but if it's there, I want to find it. I'd rather that everything be nice and clean. So I am looking to become your next county auditor. And with that, I will always be monitoring, because that's just what I do. I want all my staff, I want the audit team to be comfortable in their office. I want them them have enough training to make sure that they're comfortable in what they do, as well as not be pressured because there's enough people cross-trained to do the job. So I thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. And now I'd like to introduce Heather Joe. And Heather, you now have 3 minutes for your opening statement.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming out. It's great to see so many faces. I am Heather Joby, and I bring 20+ years of small business and private sector experience to the office. I spent 6 years as the chief deputy auditor, so I have real world practical experience in the office with all of the various functions. I have a bachelor's of science degree in business administration. Been a resident of Klickitat County for about 10 years and been actively involved with the community since we got here, primarily with programs for children. I'm a guardian ad litem through the courts. I am involved with the Parks and Rec soccer program. I coordinate it. I have for 5 years and coached it for 8. Been involved with Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts and Awana and various programs. I'm deeply committed to this county. It's the family that we've chosen, the community we've chosen to raise our kids, and I ask for your vote.
Thank you. And now for our first question. And first it will be for Heather. Why do you want to be auditor?
The office has good bones. It has some good systems in place. It's not without its faults, and I think I can improve upon those. I think my experience in the private sector gives me a unique perspective on customer service. I think government gets lax in customer service because it's a monopoly, and at some level you have no choice but to accept your services from us. And I don't think that that's the appropriate attitude. So I think I can improve our customer service with my blend of both public and private sector experience.
Thank you. And same question to you, Joanne.
Okay. Actually, I returned to help on the family farm, and I've been moving all around the state in law enforcement and different things in my experience. I will return to my hometown, and I was asked to run because of some issues that were going on. And I looked into and spoke with quite a few citizens in the county. And I was surprised at the repeated issues that were coming up. And so I said, well, yeah, I believe those can be corrected. And I do think I could do a good job. And again, I have been auditing and accounting a lot of years, over 30 years. So I am that I kind of have that in my blood. So I am customer service as well as citizen oriented, and I am a taxpayer. So I care about taxes and where they go. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And now, Joanne, we're going to go with our second question. And
who? All of us?
All of us? Okay.
That's okay.
You were coordinated on that response. Okay, so our second question is, there's a projected budget shortfall. What will be the effects on the office of the auditor, and how would you address it? And this is Joanne, please start first.
Well, one of the concerns that I have had and that I have heard about is I have had a lot of citizens, customers, come forward to me and say that they actually go out of county to get their business done. And that concerns me because I don't feel that they should be going out of county. For one, we need the revenue, but for two, the customer service on some of them have driven them out of the county. And they said, it's okay, I just go out of county. I refuse to go there anymore. And every little bit helps when it comes to the budget and comes to funds coming in. So the fact that we do have a deficit right now is partly to blame if we have people going out of the county. So that is my concern, and to get that back.
So now, Heather.
Okay, the auditor's office actually maintains 5 budgets. The budget shortfall is actually only in the general fund, which is only 2 of the auditor's office budgets. And our budget is very lean. There's not a lot of pork in it, as there should. It should be lean, but it's been approved by the commissioner, so I'm not worried about that going forward. We make $4.50 on every renewal transaction, and we regularly refer customers on the west end of the county to Skamania County for that licensing transaction, if that is more convenient for them, because it's about the customer, not about the $4.50.
Thank you, Heather. And now for question 3, I'll have you respond first. In the broad range of responsibilities of the county auditor, what changes do you see necessary to make in the current operations of the auditor's department?
There is room for improvement in processes, particularly in licensing. We have now been down to 1 full-time licensing person for 4.5 months. We've got to change that and work on fixing the flow of things in the office. That is a primary goal.
Thank you. And Joanne?
A big concern of mine, again, that people have told me that their concern is the lines when they go to the office. And most of that does deal with licensing. So I would like to cross-train and make sure that there's more staff to help the people so that they're not waiting for hours on end. And I would like to get that done as soon as possible, because that is a very common grade.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now question number 4, which is a little bit lengthy. Election integrity is important for the sustenance of our democracy. What would you do in your role as chief election officer in our county to further the efficiency and confidence in our election system? Joanne, please respond first.
Okay. This is a big concern of mine. Mainly, in my mind, it's very important for public perception is very important, because they should be believing in their own election system. And with that, I would like to actually have more education and allow people to know all the checks and balances that are taken care of in the election process. But with that, all the documented election process as well. I want the people to know these are the concerns. If you see somebody stuffing a ballot box, let us know. I want them to work with us and share in the security of the election. They are concerned. They are concerned now, and I want them to know more information about everything, as well as the cross checks again during the actual election process and the ballot counting. I think they would be more comfortable with that.
Thank you. Now, Heather.
I'm very confident in the election system in Washington State and in Klickitat County in particular. Could we do better about getting out information ahead of time and being proactive rather than reactive? Absolutely. And one of my goals would be to provide information on the front end, to anticipate questions that people might have and to address those. And to address questions people don't even necessarily know that they have. I'd like to get into the classrooms because 16-year-olds can register to vote. I think if you start them young, you make lifelong voters. So I do think we could be better about educating people, but I have no concerns about the security of elections in Washington State and in Klickitat County.
Thank you. So the next question is similar along those lines. And first to Heather, do you trust the current voting system in Washington State?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Joanne?
I don't have anything against the process itself. The process itself is good. It's up to each auditor to make sure that it is processed and follows the processes. And that's you just got to make sure that every time is a new election. You got to make sure each time that it's too expensive to redo. You got to do it right the first time. But I have been hearing of people receiving dead parents' ballots. That's a problem. Or somebody not receiving their ballot. You need to make sure that is taken care of because it can be used. Was it used? We need to know that as well. But yeah, the process itself is good. We all just need to follow it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our sixth and final prepared question is, do you deny or question the 2020 election results? Joanne?
My only concern with it is I believe that there are questions that need to be answered. And I would like those answered. Meaning when people are asked to leave, viewers are asked to leave, that's a problem because that's part of the process that's supposed to be kept. So I want those answered. But like I said, that's all, we all just need to follow the same processes. It's very, very important. We cannot redo it. You cannot redo it. It's the voters' election. It's the voters' vote. That's what runs it.
Thank you. Heather?
Nope.
Thank you. So, and now we have closing statements from the two candidates, and we'll start with Heather first.
I'd like to talk about fraud. My opponent makes a lot of reference to fraud and her experience in fraud investigation and that it's in her bones and she's always looking for it. That is not our job. Might make her a great state auditor because they do investigate fraud, but it's not what we do. If we suspect fraud in elections, it's referred to the canvassing board, who then makes a final determination and refers it to the prosecutor and the sheriff's office. If we suspect an abuse of public funds, we are required by statute to refer that to the state auditor's office. If we suspect a fraudulent licensing transaction, we process the transaction because it's not worth risking our lives and livelihood over and flag it as a fraudulent transaction for the state to refer to State Patrol. Recording. As long as your document meets our margin requirements and contains the requisite information on the front page, we will record it. Whether or not that document is valid is an issue for the courts. We do not investigate fraud. Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne?
Okay. In order to
and I'm going to try to like sell
forward information on to the prosecutor, you need to be watching for fraud. That's all I'm saying. I am a taxpayer as well as an auditor, so I'm always just watching for fraud. It doesn't mean that I jump into things and tear them up. What it means is I'm mindfully watching for everything that goes by if it just doesn't look right. So that's what I mean, looking for fraud. Granted, that is my experience, so I tend to watch for it even all the time. I just watch for it all the time. And again, I would like to be your next auditor because I do feel that I have a well-rounded experience in problems as well as solutions. I know how to find problems in processes, in accounting systems, in the numbers. I can find a problem and then trace it down and then find a way to correct it, as well as how deep does it go. So I do feel that I am a good person to not only conduct the processes and oversee the office to conduct the processes, but actually monitor as well through the processes. I, as a taxpayer, want to know that people are watching when they're paying bills. I want to know as a taxpayer that my money is being watched. So thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate you guys coming out today. Thank you.
I would like to thank the two of you for your very thoughtful responses to our questions, and thank you and good luck. Pay up these tank cars, I'm going to use them. Darn it. Last but certainly not least, we will now hear from our candidates for the County Commissioner District 2. Lori, could you provide a brief overview of the position? Oh, no, she already gave those out. Okay, I'd like to first introduce Mac Dumont. And Matt, could you please provide your opening statement and limit it for 3 minutes?
Okay.
Or less.
Or less. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I am Matt Dumont, and I am running for Klickitat County Commissioner. A little bit about myself. I'm a family man. I have a wonderful wife of 36 years, 3 children, and a grandchild. I've been in Klickitat County for 22 years, but I've been in the business world for over 40. Okay, with that being said, I'm not a politician. I do not have a personal agenda. Okay, I got involved in the commissioner's race, well, over a little anger and frustration on what's going on in the world of government representation, politics. Okay, I am a Republican. And what does that mean? Because a lot of people are, I think, are a little confused. I'm very fiscally responsible. I believe in your personal and property rights. I believe in smaller government, lower taxes, and I believe that people are responsible for their own lives, not the government. That's what makes me a Republican. With that being said, I don't represent the Republican Party. I don't represent the Democratic Party, and I don't represent the state of Washington. I represent the people of Klickitat County. That includes everybody. Okay, this county is extremely diverse from one end to the other. And how you deal with this, you have to be diverse in your actions too, and your problem-solving abilities. Prior to moving to Klickitat County, I worked in the Portland area in the corporate world for 20 years. 10 of those years I spent in international sales, where I negotiated contracts between our company's engineers and the engineers of foreign auto manufacturers. And you might be saying, oh, cool, Matt, but so what? Well, that actually applies here, because what I was doing is taking 2 very different entities, a US engineer and let's say an engineer from Japan. 2 very different ways of thinking about things. And I would work with these 2 entities, come up with a compromise solution to find something that worked for everybody. Okay. And with that being said, that's what my intention is for Klickitat County. We've got a lot of things in the works, but nothing's getting done. We need somebody to work, come up with some compromises so we can get some things accomplished. Nobody gets everything they want, but you get something. Okay. I'm an honest man. I have some pretty fabulous work ethics. I have integrity, common sense. I have a moral compass that keeps me working in the right direction. I also have strength. I will stand up for what you want. Thank you. And what is right for the county. I bring 40+ years of experience to my job. My character is based on my honesty, integrity, morals, and strength. I will use my ethics, intelligence, common sense. I'm done. I'm done. That's me.
I didn't catch the yellow card quick enough. Apologize for that. Now, Lori.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lori Zoller, and I am a candidate for District 2 County Commissioner. I have a long history in Klickitat County, including here in White Salmon. We were White Salmon residents for many, many years. My children and now my grandchildren are in your schools, and my daughter works here locally. Knowing White Salmon pre-windsurfing and seeing it today, I have to say that White Salmon and Bingen are doing a wonderful job. I can bring a broad range of experience and education to the position of County Commissioner. My background from my family was in timber and agriculture, and I married into recreation. For 39 years, I've run 3 successful businesses here in the Gorge with my husband, Tracy, and 30 of those 39 years, I have participated in volunteer boards or worked for Klickitat County. The past 10 years, I've served as a Klickitat County Planning Commissioner. My work at the county has given me firsthand relevant experience with county departments and with county budgets. I have excellent office skills, and I have facilitation and conflict resolution training. I began my campaign last February. Well, that was quick. It feels like last Friday, and have traveled the county visiting with people and getting to know people and their businesses from west to east. Although my work at the county has been centered around land use planning, watershed planning, and fish recovery, as a wife, a mother, and a grandmother, I have vested interest in local health care, affordable housing, daycare, education, safe communities, expanded broadband, senior services, and so many other issues that I have on a long list that I would like to work on. County commissioners interact daily with state and federal agencies. My work on projects such as the Dallas Port wastewater treatment plant, the cleanup of the abandoned mill at the Klickitat site, the decommissioning of Northwestern Lake Dam, the onset of the Gorge Commission, and the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act have given me insight and education on state and federal departments. And I have a good working relationship with our state and federal representatives and senators already in place from the past work I've done. Looking into the future, if elected, I would work to ensure strong department heads that lead their staff, putting public service as the forefront. I would reinstate our valuable citizens review boards and provide more public meetings to make sure all voices are heard for the development of projects and for future plans for our county. I leave you with a promise to work hard, be available, and always ensure everybody's voice is heard. I would love to have your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now we'll start with our first question, and I'll ask Lori for you to respond first. Why do you want to be commissioner?
Well, as I stated, I've worked over 30 years in Klickitat County for volunteer boards and positions, and that gave me such a broad experience from all the different things I've worked on, and I've interacted with the commissioner for years. I've retired out of the recreation and wanted to do something that was my own, and it happened that David Sauter wanted to retire. And he came to me last October and asked if I would think about running for his position. And it's not something I thought about before. And I thought, you know, I think I would really like that. That would give me an absolute new platform to take all my experience to and use it to help the people of Klickitat County. I have a passion for the people of Klickitat County and for the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Lloyd. Are people able to hear in the back? Okay. Thumbs up? Okay, good. Thank you. Matt? 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. You know, I never thought that I would ever do something like this. Getting in the political world is not my thing. But I've been so frustrated with what's been going on with our representation. My background in business, my background in working with people, my honesty and common sense, I feel our county needs some of that. It needs it badly. And so I said, I'm going to join. I know I can do a great job. So I thought, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring, and I'm going to do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. And now for our second question, and I'll have you, Matt, go first on the response to this. There are budget shortfalls for the county this coming year. As commissioner, how would you address this? If you think obtaining additional revenue is not the answer, how would you determine priorities between county departments?
Okay. I don't think that priorities in the county department is really a way to take a look at it. As a fiscally responsible type of person, you have to look at your spending. And if that means making cuts, that's what it means. I'm not one that says we need to increase our revenue, but guess where that comes from? Your pockets. Let's not take a look at increasing revenue. Let's take a look at where we can make some intelligent cuts, some common sense cuts in our budget to balance it out.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori.
I did sit in on the 2023 budget presentations. So coming in as a county commissioner in January, your budgets will be set for 2023, and that's what you'll be working with. And I can say most of the departments have been very fiscally responsible. They have lean budgets. They aren't over tracked. There's only a couple that I have a little bit of worries about that if I were a commissioner, I'd be watching through the 2023 season. I would like to see that no one comes in and asks for a supplemental budget above and beyond when they hit that budget limit. And I would take serious consideration for what they're asking for. Service to the people would come first. That would be my first consideration, touching the people and not cutting a program that serves the people.
Thank you, Lori. Next question is, as a member of the Klickitat County Board of Health, how would you support the health department in its public health efforts? Lori, please respond first.
Our public health is doing good. I've sat in on county commissioner meetings all this year, and I've gotten to know Erin. She's doing a good job of ramping that department up and coming up with solutions that serve the people. And I sat in with one meeting with her, and she was having a little bit of trouble. And she stood up to the county commissioners and stuck up for herself in what she believed. And I really appreciated that. I would enjoy being part of the Board of Health and designing the future of what happens in Klickitat County. I think it's a wonderful thing that we can make those choices here at our county. Some things come down from the state, but we actually have that choice at our county.
Thank you, Lori. And Matt?
Well, my position is I'm not a healthcare professional. We have people in place that do this. My job as a commissioner would be to support the people that are in the primary functions of the healthcare. And I'm not saying that it would be in my best interest to go out and do the research to find out as much as I can, but my primary function is to support the healthcare program. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And now for question number 4, and I'll ask you, Matt, to respond first to this. Do you think the current complaint-driven policy for code enforcement services serves the people of the county? As commissioner, what priority would you put on compliance and enforcement with county codes?
Well, we are extremely lacking in our enforcement. The codes, what's the camera? You asked a question, I keep looking at you. The codes are there for the enforcement. However, we're lacking in our enforcement. If we really want to do something about it, we need to find a way to actually get somebody in charge to enforce our codes. Because at this point, there really is not a code enforcement policy, or there is a policy, but not a procedure happening right now in our county.
Thank you, Matt. Lori?
We have a new code enforcement officer this year. He's doing a good job. He's getting out there and starting to work on these issues. He's bringing lists back to the commissioners on the weeks that he comes and reports. I can see very quickly with the issues that we've always thought of code enforcement as going out and abandoned vehicles or dumps. But now we're transferring over into the realm of code enforcement with land use planning and things. I can see very quickly he's going to become overwhelmed. He may have to have a helper. He may have to build a department eventually to become professionalized, which would take looking for budget, looking for a way to support him to do that. I think coordination with our prosecutor and our sheriff for him is going to be key. But we're building that department and it's moving forward.
Thank you. And now for our final question. And Lori asked you to respond to this first. Would you vote to declare Klickitat County a constitutional county?
That one has confused me because I feel like Klickitat County is a constitutional county. We are all people of the United States and we're constitutional people. We abide by those laws that have been in place forever. We take an oath of office to be a county commissioner. I had to sign that I support the Constitution, state and federal, even to run for this position. So I don't think that's a necessary item to vote us to be a constitutional county.
Thank you, Lori. And Matt?
Well, this may be not the most popular response, but this question is just simply a political question in my book. We are a constitutional county because we follow the Constitution. As a commissioner, you must follow the Constitution. As far as declaring it, that's kind of a political stunt because you are what you are. You know, anybody in a political office must follow the Constitution. You also have to follow state laws. And again, it's a difficult question to truly answer cognitively because it's kind of just a political, in my opinion, it's a political type of stunt to say declare, because we are a constitutional county.
Thank you. So that concludes our prepared questions. And so now I'm going to ask each of the candidates to have their closing statement, 3 minutes or less. But
Yeah.
you know, we're actually moving ahead of time, but let's go with 3 minutes. And then there's going to be an opportunity, I hope, for the candidates to do one-on-one conversation with those attending.
I was going to say it'd be nice to just get it done and then we can talk to people.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make this short. Let's see. I really didn't prepare a closing statement because, you know, Lori and I are up here. We've been around the whole county this summer. We both have similar yet different platforms. What I'm hoping for is the people of this county take a look and see what we stand for as individuals and figure out what represents you best. What is it you're looking for? My particular platform, I'm a businessman and I want to get things done. I've got great work ethics. I'm honest. I have integrity and common sense. And I'm very strong in my values to stand up for the people of this county. I'm very intelligent in how I approach things. So basically that's my position, is I'm looking to represent you with my past business history, my knowledge and abilities. So if that fits your agenda, if that fits what you're looking for, then I would please ask for your vote. Lord.
Thank you. So Matt is correct. We are very similar as people and fast friends. I do have an agenda, and it is the people of this county and Klickitat County. I enjoy politics, if that's what you want to call it. I grew up in a political family that was very involved all the time. We were able to talk politics at the dinner table even. My dad was so engaged in politics that he figured out when our county commissioner got his hair cut, and he would go down and trap him in the barber chair. So I've always been involved at that level, and it's a passion of mine. I enjoy it. Like Matt, I am a business person, and I have that business background and bring that to the table. But as well, I bring the background of all the work I've done for the county for the past 30 years with me. And As far as my work ethics, I have another joke that I tell people that I did an ancestry DNA and it came back that I have border collie DNA. I'm well known that I'll chase you down and I nip and I nip and I nip and I bug until I get where I need to go. And if I need information, I'll find it and I won't quit till I get it. And I always want the truth out of people that I work with. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our questions for all the candidates this evening. On behalf of the League of Women Voters and the Trout Lake Community Council, I want to thank you for your participation as well as the attendance and participation and responses by our candidates. Tonight's recorded coverage will be available on YouTube and on the League of Women Voters Facebook page. When everyone gets that all converted over, don't expect it like in the next 30 minutes. I'm technologically challenged. I probably should have gotten somebody else to do that. Thank you for attending. And then the candidates, I believe, will be hanging around for a little while. If you want to sit there and chat with folks, I strongly encourage it. And remember to vote.